All righty. So to bring everybody up to speed on this car has a misfire. It had a misfire on all the cylinders. We recommend to do spark plugs and coils. We could really barely ever feel that it actually had a misfire. This car has 24 spark plugs, and then it has two banks of coils. It's a twin turbo V12, 2005 SL65. Um, So then the customer picked it up, took it back to his house. He let it sit for maybe 5 or 7 days, and then he started it. And then it had it flagged codes for bank 2, 7 through 12. So it got towed back in, and the light was on. I forget exactly when. Was the light on or off? So the light was not on. We started it. We parked it for 3 days. We got back to it the following Monday, and we hooked up the Autel to it, and we watched misfire counters. And the Autel said that cylinders 7 through 12 was flagging multiple misfires on all of those cylinders, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like 20 or 30 of them, during the first start, during the high idle phase of the first start, we should say. And then when it came back down to idle to like set the nice 750, okay, hold on. Before that happened, then the check engine light turns on. The check engine light turns on while all those misfires are happening. It's kind of barely a little bit stumbly, but it's not like running on 6 cylinders. So then the car comes back down to idle. All the misfires go away immediately. The car stops misfiring. The misfires go to 0 on all the cylinders 1 through 12. And then we were able to duplicate that same thing like 5 days later after it sat for 5. This only happens after it sits for quite a long time. And it only happens on cylinder 7 through 12. So what we want to do, this car, I don't know if you can see the inside here, but maybe if we focus this guy down a little tiny bit. Yeah, there we go. Cool. I'll kind of point this stuff out. This is bank 1 over here. This is bank 2. This is the N91. So this is the control unit that controls power and ground to each bank of coils on each side. And this just gets its signal from the ME. It gets power through a connector Z738Z1, which comes from the K40-4 relay, which is a fuse box. And then that also tees off and branches into a K40/5 relay, which we don't know what that is. We didn't want to look that up yet. So what we have done so far, if you look at N91 diagnostics, we wanted to test pin 11 and pin 5 with a voltmeter, and also pin 4 and pin 14. So Jax, if you want to put that up on the screen there, you can see we tested. Okay, so go to the other graphic first. Okay, so this is the N91's disconnected. The connector is in Winter's hands right there.
Look at that.
And we are just basically, you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The connector is in Winter's hands right there, and we are checking the power and the ground going to each bank of coils right there at that connector. So keys on, engine's off. It's not running. It can't run right now anyways because we have that disconnected. And we got like 12.08 volts up there. So then flip to the next graphic. So then what we did is we wanted to check and make sure that there was a power and ground go. So that's the power and ground coming from the K40 relay is what we just checked through the N9, not even through the N91 because the N91 was disconnected. Then we connected it, and we wanted to check to check the output going to each bank of coils, which was then pin 12 and 11 and pin 14 and 13. We did that with it connected. We also put a battery charger on it, so we got a little bit more voltage. We have almost 13 volts, 12.98 that we checked on each of those. So those are both even. We have even voltage with the car not running. We have even voltage going to each bank of cylinders. So now what we were going to do is, if we come back over to the N91 live view over here in the middle. Okay, so now we have those same wires back probed, which are the 12 and 11 and 14 and 13. That's the live power and ground going out to each coil.
12 and 11 and 13 and 14 is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like 80. This is where the 87M. So 87M is coming into the N91.
Is
And
it?
then 87M is also going back out of.
Oh, yeah. I see. Yeah, it's coming in on 5 and 4.
Yes. Yep. And we checked. That was the first check. Like the Mercedes-Benz testing of the N91 procedure is to check the 5 and 4 pin going to each of the grounds on each side on 31. So the 11 on the left side and the 14 on the right side. Everybody see this right here? So that silver box in the middle of the engine compartment right there is this guy right here. And 87M. What does 87 mean? Does anybody know what 87 means? No. It's not pin 87. It means it's a switched contact. It doesn't necessarily say if it's like power or ground. Me and Eric were trying to figure that out. I think it's assumed that it's a power. Well, it's for sure a power on this car. But we're trying to figure out what 87 capital M means. And we're looking up the DIN reading, and we can't really find it in the DIN scale. But that's for another day. We'll go down that rabbit hole later.
Actually, I found it in the in a test procedure for this is for the fuel system, but it is classified as so pin 27. It's voltage supply terminal 87M.
Okay, voltage supply. Okay, voltage supply 87M. Okay, cool.
So it's a switched value. So it's coming from a relay. Hey, Bubba. Hey, it's the stop it.
It's a relay. It's a relay contact. So a relay has to create this pathway, right? That's what 87 means. What does 31 mean? So we're also doing 31. What does 31 mean?
It's a ground.
Yes, it's a ground. So that's a ground. That's basically for any car anywhere in the world. You could be working on a tractor, you could be working on anything, and that's what those two things mean, right? So then what we're doing is we're checking the out. So that's power coming in, right, on these 5 and 4 pins. There's the ground, and then it's sending it back out as 87M over here and over here to each coil bank. You guys see that? So right now we have the fluke meters hooked up to these pins, 14 and 13 and 12 and 11. And we're just going to monitor to make sure that we have the right amount of voltage going to each coil while we're starting the car.
And this is a cold start?
Yeah, this is a cold start. We haven't done anything. So what we still do need to do is we need an amp clamp. What we're going to do, so what we want to, so moving on, what we're trying to find also in this car, which we have not been able to find, we are trying to find so right here, you're only looking at half of the coil in this picture, but this T14, T15, T16, those are coils 4, 5, and 6. And the same thing over here, 7, 8, 9. And then you just don't see the other cylinder coils in this shot. You can only buy them. It only comes in one length of coil, right? So the coil's this long. It's glued together. You can't take it apart and find what color the wires go to. Okay. The other problem is, here is the engine control unit, this N310 up here. The N310 does not designate, and then the N310 has signal wires coming straight down into the coil banks. It's not designating which wire is for which cylinder. So for us to find it, we could find out by creating a misfire and seeing. Okay, so we're trying to figure that out. Can't figure that out right now. There's not enough information in the wiring diagram. So then what we're going to do is we are going to amp clamp. I think which ones did we decide? 12 and 13. Winter? Okay. So we're going to amp clamp 12 and 13, which are kind of like right in the middle of the connector. And then what's that going to tell us, somebody? Felipe said something. Say it out loud, Felipe. Yeah, he said coil ramp. So we are going to ramp the coils. Mm-hmm. This car has 24 spark plugs. So we're going to see a lot of firing of the coils. Lots of current ramping happening. And then maybe what we can do, we can try disconnecting an injector to see if we can get one of the cylinders to start acting up during a current ramp, just to find our firing order. Because right now we don't know which color wire goes to which cylinder on this car. And I looked in the wiring diagram for a while.
I think everything inside the coil pack is kind of self-contained. It looks like yes. What is it? The N91 looks to be just basically a voltage regulator and, current handler, since we're going to be dealing with multiple discharges. I think it's everything as far as the cylinder identification, all that stuff is inside the coil pack. So you'd have to have the cover off of that thing to sync anything, or raise it up with a secondary extension, right? Is that your only option?
We could do, we could do a secondary wand. Yes.
Oh yeah, you could. Absolutely.
Because I could actually see the coil boots on cylinder 1. I can see the coil boots. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to get a signal, but we can certainly try.
Well, it looks like 1A is right near the outer edge of this bank 1, right? So if you just laid the wand to the corner, the forwardmost corner, you would probably sync, and you could use that as a sync.
Okay. So we can try that. And then, so are you saying, so on the N91, on pin 12, on wire 12 and wire 13, we can get current ramping from that, right?
Yeah.
For a current ramping of the coils.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, either 8 or 15, or on your N91 it'd be pinned 11 or 12, yeah, or 14 or 13. You could even probably grab just the 5 and 4. Yeah, grab 5 and 4, the input, right? Because that'd be the whole module, all the current coming through the whole module.
Yeah. So I backtraced that the Z738Z1, and it goes to 2 relays. The one's a K40/5, the other one's K40/4. In K40/4, it looks like that's where the fuse is, and power comes out of K40/4, and then it tees in here and also goes over to the K40/5, which I don't know what that controls. But if we pick that line up, then we're going to see what the K40/5 also controls.
So is the K40/5, is it 87? Is the line, are the lines going to this junction point Z7? Are they both coming out of, do you have 87 and 87A coming out of the 40/5 to that junction point?
I didn't catch what the wires were coming out of that. I don't know if
Because that might explain the 87M.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it said. I could go look it up later.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. But yeah, let's grab, so because we're dealing with current.
We're on 2 wires. We're on 12 and 13.
You could grab the ground, you could grab the power side. It doesn't matter where you grab it. It's going to be the same on either.
From a logistics standpoint, 12 and 13 are the easiest ones to grab. They're right in the middle of the connector.
Perfect.
Right next to each other.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
so we have
nice.
gotten in the wand. So we'll get the wand out. Here, you hold the mic, Alex.
What the heck's a wand?
The wand. Did somebody say what's the wand?
Yes. Who said that?
Yeah, that was me, Mr.
What you need before you get entered, before you're allowed to go to Hogwarts.
Wait, what?
It's the wand is what you need before you're allowed to go to Hogwarts.
I think I need magical powers for that.
That's right. Well, so I'm just taking some notes here on my Palm 1.0.
I'm a level 2. Okay.
All right. Okay. Well, I'd also like to get a scan tool connected to that, and let's look at some live data. Can anybody else throw some? So we're dealing with a cold start misfire.
We got the fancy Autel scanner on it right now.
Nice.
Ready to go.
So let's just talk about this for a minute. So this is one diagnostic approach that's being applied right now, and we're not going to interfere with that because it's there's already we're invested in it. For sure, not a first hour diagnostic. This is going into second and third. But on our first hour, let's take a look at some of the facts that we've got going on here. So this is a 90,000 mile car, V12 that only runs rough or misfires during cold start after it's sat for a minimum of 3 days, is what I understand, but we don't know that for sure.
Yes.
Okay, so that's I want everybody sitting there that's not touching the car, and not everybody slide over there and start leaning on the car. Throw me some ideas. I mean, we're going to look at some live data, but just that scenario right there. If you're talking about a V12 that runs rough, is this a direct injected car?
No.
Okay, not direct injected. All right. But a V12 that runs rough at 90,000 miles on cold start after sitting for 3 to 5 days. So if we start this tomorrow, it's not going to run rough. Is that correct?
As long as it's cold, possibly.
Okay, so it's a possibility. So the sitting part doesn't really. That's a variable that's kind of could be a red herring. So we'll put that immobilized period as a question mark. All right. Anyone have any ideas? I mean, what just comes to mind? Just throw it out there. What's because this is where we're going to start trusting our gut and our experience, and I'm going to just get Not sure what happened there. Oh, I was looking at the wrong screen. Here we go. There, I'm back. Okay. What do you guys think? Somebody throw some words out there. What are you guys thinking? What comes to mind? Felipe just left. I was kind of looking at that guy, and he just split. Where'd he go?
I was thinking something like maybe a little clogged fuel injector, like when it's sitting, it after a while it has to like charge back up again, and when it does, it's not giving enough fuel, or maybe a little bit of coolant leaking into the cylinder, and then it after sitting all that time, it goes to start up and it can't run because of the coolant.
Okay. So I ran out of space in my Palm 1.0. I'm gonna have to actually get a piece of paper here. Give me 1 second. Perfect. All right, so Noah's got possible injector, injector restriction, or clog, or just flow. We'll just put injector flow because it could be too much, too little. All right, but focusing on low. All right. Anybody else? What do you got?
I'm gonna go towards more like a coil maybe because it's something that's controlling 7 through 12. So if it's 7 to 12 that are misfiring, it might be, possibly a coil.
That coil pack, that whole strip.
Yeah, that coil pack that's controlling that whole bank.
Okay, so Daniel, that's not a bad thought.
Just
and Noah, you see how your injector idea is good if we had individual cylinders. I'm going to leave it up there because it's still inside the realm of possibility, but those possibilities are lower than like something that, because we're looking at a whole bank, so it's somewhat systemic, right? To bank two, but I'm leaving it up there. So Daniel's thinking something to affect the whole coil pack, which is kind of what Winter and Nico have going on. They're suspecting the same thing, but they're gonna verify voltage and current go into that pack first, which is always a good thing to look at. All right, Jose, what you got? Got something for me? Or
I was thinking something along the lines of the oxygen sensor calibration, like when it's cold, it's not getting a proper reading, so you're kind of getting an iffy air fuel mixture when it's cold, and then once it starts warming up, it's able to effectively burn off the fuel. Once the idle kind of settles in and whatnot. That's all I can think of. Maybe especially if it's one bank.
Okay, O2 calibration or So do we have? All right, let's just talk about that for a second. O2 calibration. So on cold start, are we even using the O2s yet?
The loop when it's cold.
It's an open loop, but your overall fuel trim would definitely affect your cold start injection rate, right? On the next start.
Correct. That's what it remembers.
So okay, so we're gonna I'm just gonna put in there about fuel trim on next cold start, but this is repeatable, so we'll take a look at that. So that Gianni's got that going on there. Okay, what happened to Felipe? Where'd he go? Splitsville or Alex? Give me Alex. It's in your hand. Oh, okay.
I was gonna actually suspect something with the variable valve timing, but I came to find out that this vehicle does not have that situation. So
well, there's the problem. We need to put that in. We need to install that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
All right. All right. So, Alex, if there was something that was affecting cold start with variable valve timing, even though this car doesn't have it,
Right.
What diagnostic move might you perform just to kind of eliminate that?
I would try to get a reading on the solenoids or the well, obviously check oil level, but I would go directly to the solenoids to see if there's any, what the movement is that they're what their behavior is basically.
And then how about unplugging it?
Yeah, I guess.
Right, because that should put it back in the default base timing.
Yeah.
So if you just unplug it and see if the symptom changes on cold start, that's a pretty common approach for BMW dual vanos, M54 and later, right? Just
Okay.
rough run, unplug it, see if it changes. Just throw that out there. Even though this car doesn't have that, thank you for bringing up that topic.
Yeah, totally. All right, here's Felipe.
Okay, Felipe. Jose, you're not getting out of this, so you better start thinking. All right, Felipe, what do you got for me? Where'd he go? He's Splitsville.
What's the question?
Oh, so given the information we have, this is a 90,000 mile V12 that runs rough on cold start only after the immobilized, the vehicle's been immobilized for 3 days or more. And the immobilized period is kind of a question mark. So, what are your thoughts on that? What does your gut tell you as far as what where would you prioritize your looking at data, or what avenue would you go with?
It's just concentrating on that side that's all misfires, the bank side, bank 2 side, and if possible, swap that coil bank, because it looks like that it's a whole coil pack. It
is
deal. So if you can, swap it to the other bank, see if it follows it over.
Okay, so you're saying focus on bank 2, and then in focusing on bank 2, or you got another bank that's working just fine, or supposedly working just fine. We don't know that for sure. We could compare values side to side and see what's different.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are a little leading questions, but
or if we can't swap it, maybe if we have the old one, just pop it in there for shits and giggles, see if it does anything.
Do we have I don't think we've replaced the coil pack. I think it's we've just replaced the 24 spark plugs. Right? Is that true?
No, they did coils and plugs with a coil.
They did the coil. They did one coil pack.
They did both. They did. Yeah, they did all spark plugs and both coil packs.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Nico says sorry.
Okay. All 24 plugs. All right, so our focus really is the N91. That's what I'm feeling. Jose,
Eric,
what do you feel?
Eric, put this in your hat. Think about possibly erroneous knock sensor data, from like worn mounts or excessive vibrations, making the DME think it's misfiring, but it's not.
All right, we're not in knock control on cold start, are we? Because we're not running a lean mixture, which usually a leaner mixture and timing advance. Because what does knock control do? It rolls back the timing, usually in 5 to 10 degree increments, usually 5 degree increments, right? Until knock. So, but Winter, that's a great point. Look at knock control on start, because I don't know if this thing is looking at knock. I mean, it may not turn it off ever, right? Why bother? Because if it's not in play, that's not a problem. Then you don't need to turn it on and off. You could just leave it on all the time. So that's very likely what they would do. That's pretty good note. So on live data, we would want to see if there's knock active status or look at the timing and see if it's being rolled back. That's
Hey
great.
Eric, can you look at the Pico 7 Live on your screen? Is this shared?
I am now, yeah, right there.
You're looking at it live. Okay, perfect. We're ready. Jax, you want to flip over to the Pico camera, the view, and we can just kind of go over everything. Oh yeah, perfect. That's on right now. Okay, so we have a voltmeter hanging out right here, and another voltmeter on the other side. We have the amp clamp on pin 12 and 13, I think.
Okay, 1 second. All right. Hey, Jose, what are your thoughts on this? Quick and dirty. You're the last one.
All right, here.
What would you focus on? I mean, just what's your gut say to you?
Well, the coils OEMs.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
And they are rebuilt. There's a core on the
The rebuild.
Okay.
Somebody else's used.
Somebody used coil.
Yeah, so they are rebuilt coils from, I believe it's
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, but hold on. What's your idea, Jose?
That was a good question.
I don't know about that. Well, like I said, like everybody said about the coils, we were like, that's the only thing I can think of.
Okay,
Cold start thing that we were talking. So cold start, one bank has a problem. What are we going to focus on?
what's your gut tell you? Like, what? I mean, just off top of your head. It doesn't have to be right. I mean, Alex was talking about BBT.
Like I said, I don't have an idea right now at this point.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to work on that. But a good question about the coil pack. So this coil pack is remanned, and now we just found out that it's been replaced. Is this the exact same symptom?
Both coil packs. The symptom is not the exact same. The first, when it came in, the first time it started happening, it happened while the guy was driving slowly in traffic after he was in traffic for a while, and then it started misfiring.
Okay.
We have tried to duplicate that the first go around. We were never really able to duplicate that problem as far as like actually feeling a misfire. The only thing that is reproducible is this cold start thing. So at some point when it was hot, the first time before the coils were installed, both coils, left and right, were both replaced. There was a hot driving while low speed misfire.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like, secondary ignition completely. That's a classic symptom. All right. And then that's changed now.
That's changed, but I don't know if he's really driven it enough. The owner hasn't really driven it enough. This is one of many of his cars. It sits around a lot.
So I got a
but it does have
question.
90K on it.
So the symptoms seems to have changed after the coil packs and the plugs, right? So now you no longer have the driving symptom. You just have the roughness on cold start periodically after an questionable immobilization period. Would that be
Yeah, when you say immobilization period, what do you mean?
Just sitting for 3 to 5 days? It's got to sit.
Yeah. Yep. Sitting
And
now.
it's
Winter was kind
questionable.
of saying like it doesn't have to sit for 3 to 5 days, but maybe you come back to it the next day and there's no problem. Maybe you come back to the next day and there is a problem. But it seems like it's definitely reduplicatable after like a number of days than every time. And then maybe accompanied with a check engine light.
Okay. So
we did that extensively the first time.
And does it? So this check engine light comes and then goes. Is that correct?
It's cold and then it goes away.
Hold on.
Get these back hot to see if they'll start.
So Johnny drove this car a lot after the So after we did the coils and plugs, I don't know how many miles Johnny drove it, but he drove it a lot in like hot, touch and go driving.
Touch
he
and go driving.
drove a lot, and it was,
Swapping
and on
paint?
top of that, it was way hotter like a month ago than what it is now. It was it was boiling hot out.
We check misfire counts on it, or no? While it was hot.
Well, not while Johnny was driving it.
That he had it, never check engine light never came on.
We gave it back to the customer because we were convinced that it was fixed. It was running smooth.
Okay.
All the monitors said complete. Lots of driving time.
And right now, the check engine light only comes on if it catches enough of the misfire events. Then it'll throw the check engine light on, and it'll just 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Misfires on all cylinders. So the light comes on and then goes off after the idle drop.
What happened? I don't know.
We got it when it was towed in for the second time. The light was off and it ran normal. And then during testing on the first day, the light came back on. It flagged probably 25 or 30 misses, cylinders 7 through 12. And, if you let it run for a couple more minutes, it'll be smooth and the misfire counter will zero itself out.
And Winter, were you checking the smoothness with a glass of champagne?
I was actually balancing a quarter on top of the engine, like the commercials.
Good enough. Yeah, good enough. Yeah. Good enough. Okay. One other question. Did you guys do the courtesy inspection on this thing?
The courtesy inspection is complete. Yeah. We
Okay.
got all the upsell we could out of this one.
Oh no, but did you see anything that might have indicated, or helped? I mean, did you see any oil leaks or oil-soaked breather hoses or anything to that effect?
No, it's a pretty clean car.
Okay. So you guys have a check engine light. Was there freeze frame data?
There is. I have it all still loaded in the computer. We haven't deleted anything yet. I was actually going to ask if you wanted to clear it out before we run it here.
I'd like to record it before it gets cleared, but did the freeze frame data give you, I mean, it should have given you some parameters at which we are operating. So every test we can duplicate under the same conditions, right? Coolant temperature, engine load, possible air mass value, the guy's calculated load, anything like that, RPM.
Winter's checking. He's pulling up the Autel right now.
Okay. Now here's what I was thinking before we get, because we're about to do this test. This is starting to get to the point where thinking is the antithesis of action. But you guys have already replaced the coil packs and spark plugs, but did you reset the crankshaft adaptation? And if you didn't, could that be part of the issue? And if you did, well, I don't think you would have misfire faults until you get that crankshaft adaptation. So I'm suspecting that it might not have been reset, and Mercedes crankshaft adaptation reset procedure would be like after it's cleared to the decel down from 45 miles an hour to almost nothing without touching the brake, right? So that it can see the fuel cut off and then unloaded speed, in mass curve, right? So that it can build the adaptation. Is that possible?
When you just said that, I was reminded of that a long time ago. I don't know if anybody here knows about the crankshaft adaptation reset on the Mercedes.
Well, it's come to find out, I actually used it. BMW doesn't actually state anything about a crankshaft adaptation drive cycle per se, but it was just my coming across a very elusive document in the Mercedes side that I was like, holy crap, you know. And Chrysler, you know, before they even blended together, had a it was Dean Parsons that pointed out the relearn process on the Chrysler side with his minivan, his Caravan. But
because on the older Mercedes, this is kind of, it's an 05.
yeah, it's right on
if a coil goes bad and you put a new coil on it and you don't reset the adaptation, the car will continue to misfire.
Yeah, for a while.
Yeah,
a long time. It'll eventually adapt out, but it's unlikely to do it very rapidly because the misfire continues. So that was kind of my thought. It's like maybe you guys already fixed it. It's just not finalized.
The adaptation. Yeah, that's possible. Did you reset the crankshaft adaptation, Winter?
I did not do that. I was not aware of that on the Mercedes.
Yeah, so Winter did not do that. I wonder if is there a crankshaft adaptation number that's in there that would make sense?
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's going to be
live data.
It'll probably not make any sense to us at all, but I'm sure there's one in there. So it should, right? There's going to be, it's going to be degrees versus time, right? And I'm trying to think of what those limits are typically. I want to say it's about, is the threshold usually around 7 or 8? Can be can't recall.
But we could do. Let's do the test. Yeah.
Yes. Let's do the test.
We get this thing all set up here. Let's go back over this. What we got set up over here. Yeah. Oh yeah, Jax just did. Yeah. They can. The answer is yes. I don't know how he's going to do that, but yeah, he could do that.
What's that?
He wants to look at the live autel to put it up on the screen.
I would have to team view into that or ultra view into it. You guys could actually team view in and pull it up on the screen and share it. Yeah, because that would be.
Well, that's going to take like another 20 minutes, so let's not do that today.
Okay.
Let's do this thing.
Okay. Somebody should be looking at that value though. I'm going to leave that to Winter because I imagine this is his ticket.
Winter is looking at it right now. Which value do you want Winter to look at?
Well, I think per the what we threw out there from the group is we should be looking at, well, I think we should be looking at the crankshaft adaptation, try and find that first. I'd like to look at fuel trim always, right? What's our base fuel trim? And, you know, what's going to be.
He's going to have to get, so right now he's in the Mercedes specific section.
Yep.
He's going to have to go to OBD2 to get all that.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, because if he's in this, it's going to only let him show like, they break it all up into like 15 groups.
Oh, it's in groups. Okay, I see what you're saying.
So it's like I can't read it from here, but what is this?
Okay, so then let's just do this. We're gonna put all that on hold, and let's just look at knock, right? Because that was Winter's.
Look at which
the knock control, because that was where Winter was. You know, this is his ticket, I imagine. So let's go with that. And if we're going to look at it,
knock control?
Yeah, knock control.
Okay, go to knock control.
See if we got it rolling back ignition timing, and what that status is. He can look at that, and then if he's got time, then let's prioritize crankshaft adaptation values, and then the others will be for a different time. If we've only got to pick a couple, let's focus on the ones. You know, I'm a firm believer in trust your gut with the diagnostic, and that was kind of what he was leaning for. So let's get that out of the way, right? So that it's not a nagging question, within reason. You know, the color of the car isn't, you know, like if this goes a white car, we wouldn't have this problem. that's not going to apply. But knock control, that it's a possibility.
No,
But
he's having a problem with the Mercedes side of it. Just go to the OBD2 side. Winner, get out of this and let's do this thing because it's 103 right now.
Or we could just start the car and look at our current ramp, because we could start it and shut it off. What if we're missing something on the current ramp and we need to make an adjustment?
Yes,
We'll know within a few seconds.
Can you check the if you look at the Pico screen, see my
I'm
B
looking at it.
channel, it's on 5 volts, and that has the wand on it.
All right.
I'm trying to that needs to be amperage, or does it need to be in volts?
It's going to be a voltage value.
It's going to change it to a volt.
Yeah, because it's got
gonna
coil
be
plug
more
ignition probe set here, and then sample rate's kind of sampling. Let's see here. Normal 100 milliseconds of division, 2 mega. We can probably drop this down a little bit. See if we can get. Let's go back to normal. How about that? Oh, it wants it there. All right, that's fine. You just don't have a lot of screens available.
Yeah, maybe go to 500 milliseconds or so.
Yeah, get it bigger. All right, so we're gonna go. Milliseconds per division, still not. I think you were at 100. Let's see here. Let's see what it gives us. 1, 2. Are we gonna get only 3? Oh no, it's gonna go 1. All right, cool. It's gonna be. All right. Are you adequately prepared to rock?
Yeah. As far as this setup over here, yeah, we're ready.
Okay, and then I'm assuming that all of that gibberish and time wasted with verbiage allowed Winter to get to the PIDs that he was interested in getting to.
Did you get to the
All
OBD2?
Yeah, but there's no knock control monitor in the OBD2 menu either.
Okay, you could look at ignition timing, which.
I just want to see the fault counter if it's
Okay.
missing or not. But
You want to see the what?
I just want to see the fault counter in the Benz.
Okay,
side.
okay. So the ignition, the misfire counter.
Yeah, I just want to see if it's actually
It's
missing or
active. Okay, so that's valid. And
That's
um,
Do that one. You can do that one. Okay, do that
okay.
one.
Let me know and I'll start the Pico right before you're going to start it.
All right, he's it's working. It's going.
Is the car running? No.
The what?
Have you started the car?
No. We haven't started the car yet. No.
All right.
He's trying to get to the screen right now on
Okay.
the Autel.
Right.
For the
misfire counter. Oh boy. Okay, you know what? We should have like a shot pool where there's gambling involved with dollar bets, and should be betting on this next time. I'm gonna work this out. We'll get.
Yeah, I'm moving this guy down just a touch. Yeah, so we got this thing over here in the turbo. We have the turbos live down here, so nobody drop anything or let towels get sucked up in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have a live turbo, FYI.
Yeah, they will. I've had to replace one for a razor blade getting sucked off the fender into it.
1, 2, 3. Okay, that's fine. Okay, cool. So we've got 13.4 volts on each bank over here. We're monitoring the amperage coming off of here, coming out of the N91 into the coils. We have a wand on cylinder 1 over here, and on the Pico, we've got the wand and the amp clamp.
And 2
So
open
go ahead
channels.
and hold on. The voltmeter just turned off. Oh, yeah. Well, once it changes it. Okay.
Hey, so the advantage of having the voltmeters there as opposed to using those same connections just into the Pico where you can record it and compare live to live.
Yeah, I don't
You've got
know.
2 open channels here.
We probably should have. I guess I was just looking for the power and the ground on each
Yeah.
side.
Yeah. So it'd be the supply each side, and you could see if you could compare on the Pico at the same time. I'm just saying, it's the same setup. You could basically change the probes out. You leave the probes in place and just change it out. But we're not going to do that right now. I'm just
It's
saying
not.
for the future.
It's not the same setup.
It's not.
No. Some of them are. 2 of them are banana clips, but then the other 2 are not.
All right. Oh, stop. Holy crap. Hey, buddy. I got. I think go bite somebody then. Jeez. All right.
Right, Kojo? All right, so
Okay.
you should we go?
Yeah, go ahead. It's rolling.
All right, go ahead and fire it up, Winner.
You don't have any current ramp going on at all.
No, we don't have anything over here.
Uh-huh. What's your voltage reading?
I'm moving the
Oh, I saw something. Hold on. What's that?
wand around.
Something on B. So I saw something on B. Keep going. Okay, so B's picking up something right there. Just stay right there for a second.
Hold on, Eric. We can't hear you. The engine's
Okay.
very
Yeah,
loud
B.
out here.
B. Your wand actually had a signature there for a moment.
You did have a signature?
It did. So I was starting to move the voltage around to try and get a better view of that.
How did it did it misfire?
It has 1 miss on 8 and 1 miss on 5. 5. That's the other bank. So it's got a 1. It's 1 and 1.
Yeah.
Another one on number 9.
Yeah, but those don't count.
What's that?
We're not hitting 20 or 30 per cylinder.
Okay. So
all right, shut it off.
well, wait, don't shut it off. Mess around with your inductive probe for a minute. We got this thing out and hooked up. Start moving around. Let's try and get an image on there so that the next time it's actually usable.
Okay, let's see.
You had an image there for a moment. There it is. Okay.
Okay, let me.
Okay.
Let me turn around.
Zooming in. Okay, there you. We're starting to get something. I'm zooming in a little more. All right, now we're. There you go. Now you got something right there.
On the red line?
Yeah, you had something. Oh, right there. Okay. All right.
Okay, but it's not running right now.
Oh.
I don't know what that. I'm just moving the wand up and down. It's fucking making
Oh.
all kinds of noise and
So
shit.
if you
Look
put
at
it in
that.
your pocket and wiggle it around, is it the same?
Talk into this thing like a microphone.
Oh yeah, tap on it. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's because it's getting tapped on.
That's interesting to know that is a effect of that, so that if you're using it, you could be inducing sparks that don't exist.
Yeah, like that.
Okay. Yeah, like that. Oh man, that looks great. Okay, so that's great to know. Alrighty. Yeah, we had no current ramp going on, and let's stop this for a minute.
Well, which is kind of so. Also, what we did not have, and this car has been sitting now. It's Tuesday. The last time we tried this was Friday, so it's been sitting for 4 days, and it only had one misfire on cylinder 8 and one misfire on cylinder 5, and that's it. Which is now the other bank.
Opposite side.
Yep. Well, cylinder 8, I guess, is the same, but cylinder 5, but it's just 1 and 1. When we were having a problem, it was flagging 20 to 30 misfires per cylinder on 7 through 12.
Okay.
When at that bad time when we got 30 misses, I didn't feel really smooth. That's just how it felt.
Right.
Now, is the check engine light on, or is there any code stored for those misfires? Probably not. There's only one.
I still haven't deleted anything out from the first time.
Okay, so we still have not deleted the data. I wonder if we should reset the crankshaft adaptation on this car.
Yeah. I'm inclined to advocate for recording all the freeze frame data that you've got, right? And careful notes about the symptom that you observed, and then making only one adjustment at a time, which would probably be, like you say, reset the crankshaft adaptation and do the adaptation drive cycle, and then restart it
That was for the
cold.
chart temperature code. Guy was going 139 miles an hour.
Interesting. Yeah. One. There's a charge air coolant circuit temperature high code that's stored. The car came in with that. It was not there before. But if you look at the freeze frame data on that, it says that the car was going 139 miles per hour.
139 kilometers an hour?
No, it's in miles per hour. Which then at 140, his charge air coolant circuit got too high.
Well, he is pushing the top speed of 155.
I wonder what was the mileage on that.
Do you think the S65, it's out of the realm of possibility that he could have been actually going 139 miles an hour?
Yeah, no, it's an SL65.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he could. This car can easily go 140. I bet this car is governed at like 155.
Yeah. Does this guy seem like the kind of guy that would go?
Daniel, we don't need another Jason here again. I don't know if you don't. I don't know if you heard about Jason, Eric.
No.
He was coming to work yesterday, and he was driving through an intersection.
On his motorcycle?
On his motorcycle. A woman was making a left in front of him. She saw him and stopped, and he proceeded to go around her, and then she went, and he took out the A pillar of the car. He thought it was like a NT 200, like a Lexus NX or NT, like those little Prius looking things. It's like a Prius Lexus. It ripped his fingernail. His pinky went through his glove. His skin came off of the pinky bone, and then he got 3 vertebrae fractured, dislocated his shoulder, dislocated like 3 fingers.
Not the middle finger.
Yeah, no, I think his middle finger still works.
Good.
Oh, and he dislocated both of his thumbs. Jesus.
So he's been reduced to.
He was going like 50, and then that happened. So yeah, that's kind of crazy. So yeah, don't ride motorcycles fast.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah. But crazy. So yeah, he's still in the hospital.
Fuck. All right. Noted. I know what to do about that. All right.
So I think okay. So we got to get back to work. It's 1:20, 1:18. I think maybe what we do is we do a crankshaft adaptation reset on this car, and then go from
Okay.
there. I don't know why we're not able to see current ramping. Maybe we got to use some different wires.
Are you grabbing all of the wires? Are you just grabbing the B pluses, or are you grabbing everything?
Just the two B pluses.
Yeah.
We could
Yeah, I
try
don't
the
know why.
negatives.
It shouldn't matter. It should not matter at all. I'm just wondering if maybe we had this set too high. All right, everybody can go to work, and we're just gonna fiddle with this for a minute, and then we'll share what we learn later. But yeah, I mean, I think that makes the most sense. Is the reset the crankshaft adaptation? I think you guys might have already fixed it since the symptom changed dramatically. You no longer have a driving misfire. You have a misfire on startup.
Yeah.
And even then, it's inconsistent. And like I say, I think the immobilization period is kind of a red herring. I think it's just the frequency of which he drives the vehicle that made that even a piece of information. All right. Thanks, guys. It was good to see you guys again, and thanks for your input on this.
Cool. Thanks, Eric.
Hey, I want to hang out with you guys while you're fiddling with this. Let's work on this for a minute. Everybody else can go to work, but since you have this Pico connected,